Hey, aloha, mi amigos. Hey, we're in Acts, and today we're in Acts chapter 17, and Paul and Silas are going from city to city. Actually, they're getting kicked out of a lot of cities because they're being accused of being troublemakers and agitators, and they're being accused of turning the world upside down or right side up, depending upon your point of view. And they come to a city called Berea. And in Berea, they encounter some Christians who are able to think, and that's a good thing. And in verse 11, it says this: the Jewish people here were more receptive than they had been in Thessalonica. They warmly and enthusiastically welcomed the message, and then day by day would check for themselves to see if what they heard from Paul and Silas was truly in harmony with the Hebrew Scriptures. That's good stuff, because that's what we need to do. Don't just swallow whatever anybody gives you. Don't just conform. Check things out. God gave you a brain because he wants you to think, all right? And a lot of times we get accused as Christians of being people who just fall in line and just conform, and we don't need to be those kind of people. We need to think. We need to choose. We need to decide. We need to think for ourselves. We need to appreciate. That's why God gave us a brain, so we could check things out. And when people tell you things, check it out with the Word and see if it lines up with what God has already told you. And then we read on, and this is really cool, because Paul's walking around the city, and he's checking it out, and then he engages the people there, and he gives them some stuff to think about. And verse 19 and 21 says this stirred their curiosity because the favorite pastime of Athenians, including foreigners who had settled there, was conversation about new and unusual ideas. So Paul tells them this: this is the God who made the universe and all it contains, the God who is the King of all heaven and all earth. It would be illogical to assume that a God of this magnitude could possibly be contained in any man-made structure, no matter how majestic. Then skip down to verse 26, and it says this God made us all in our diversity from one original person, allowing each culture to have its own time to develop, giving each its own place to live and thrive in distinct ways. His purpose in all of this was that people of every culture and religion would search for this ultimate God, grope for him in the darkness, as it were, hoping to find him. Yet in truth, God is not far from any of us. God wants us to think, and he wants us to search for him. But here's the thing: he's not that far from us. He wants to be found, and he wants us to find him. And it's an incredible thing. And he's made us diverse, okay? And he's made us different, and that is a beautiful thing. Here's Paul. He's engaging the culture. He doesn't preach at them. He doesn't give them this quick and easy formula. He just invites them to be involved in the story of God. He invites them to check out God, and exposes them to the beauty of Christ, and gives them a chance to think about it themselves. It's a really cool thing. Being a Christian isn't about turning your brain off and getting in line and just conforming with what everybody else says and does and thinks. It's about thinking, and it's about appreciating what God has done in your life, and appreciating the fact that he's made you different than anybody else, and he's going to speak to you in different ways. But he's always going to speak through his word. So we think about that, and then we check it out, make sure it lines up with what he says, what he's already said, what he's already revealed of himself, and it's an incredible thing. Okay? This is your brain. This is your brain on the Word. God bless you guys. Giddy up!